Hi everyone, I'm the plant propagator and welcome to my channel. Today I want to show you some results that I'm getting, which are just amazing, of the orchids in my grow tent. You can grow orchids in here, any plants. These grow tents are really amazing. Before I do that though, I do want to share with you that I'm just really happy with the amount of subscribers on my channel. It's beyond what I had hoped for. But the other thing is, if you're interested, I have a members part of my channel. So for my members, I present some additional information. I tell you a little bit more about myself, and there are also some additional perks that are associated with that. There is also a fee associated with it. So for my members, it is $2.99 per month to join my channel as a member. But you get some additional information and additional perks that, that I think are valuable and useful for most. And it's really more for those perks, and everything are more for the people that are interested in growing orchids, which is the main thing that I do. If you join and you don't like what you see, you can unjoin also as a member. So to join as a member, you just click on the right buttons. You find your space, it'll ask you if you want to join, and it'll show you the fee that's associated with it. And I'm happy to have you join my channel to get, as a member, to get even more information than what I share. I share a lot of information anyway, and this is just some small amount of new things if you want to get to know me better, and if you want to get to know more of the things that I do mostly in the laboratory, but also in my outside growing space. Okay, back to these guys. What I wanted to do is share with you results, and this is relatively new information of my plants, of my orchids, my deflask orchids that are transitioning to my outside area in the grow tent. So these were, and I don't have a whole lot of experience with this. So these plants have only been in here for, I think, maybe the longest one, which I think is this one, may be in here for a couple of months. The rest of these have only been in here for about a month, maybe a little bit more. But I do have, and I'm going to keep better records on this. I haven't really been doing this, but I will now. But I do have deflasking records and history on this, and these were deflasked. Most of these were deflasked, I think, if I'm looking at this, 5 months ago. So what that means is that, and what happens is, I deflask into these tubs, and I put these in the laboratory under low light for 3 months. And I have a treatment regime that I use. So I deflask, and there's specific treatments that I use. I do a mycorrhizal inoculant after about 3 or 4 weeks. I alternate between fertilizer and water. These are deflasked orchids, so I keep them really wet and under very high humidity. The top of these tubs they're not on right now, they're sitting over there. But I have a really strict regime that I follow. And what I've been doing most recently is trying, before I take these plants outside, if I take them right from the laboratory outside, it's a little bit of a shock. Outside in Southwest Florida means higher light. Even though my orchids are all in the shade, it's still much higher light and much lower humidity than being inside these tubs in the laboratory under very under very low LEDs. But these now have been in here for, under these conditions, have been in here for 2 months, some of them. So what I want to do is, because you can't see much here, but you can see the general outlay of things, and I have room in this grow tent for 9 tubs, but what I need to do is transition. I need to take these plants outside because I need to transition so many more tubs that I have that are filled with deflasked orchids into this environment. So few of these are really clearly ready to go outside, that's the plan right now, is to take these out and then bring some new ones in. And I haven't been doing a very good record keeping on this, but I'm going to do that from now on, because when I first did it, okay, it was just a few, but now it's kind of loading up, and now as I transition some in and some out, I need to keep better records of what's here. Okay, so what I want to do is show you a little bit, get behind the camera, show you a little bit of how this is laid out, and most importantly, I want to show you what these plants look like 5 months after deflasking. And I'm gonna, the spoiler here, they look really, really good. The whole idea of what I've done over my career, my previous career when I was at the university, my theme was bigger, better, stronger, faster. And I was in the area of biotechnology, so I tried to make, in that case, soybean plants grow bigger, better, stronger, faster using some biotechnology type approaches. Here I'm not doing that. Here I'm just using culture type approaches, but what is going on is I'm getting these things to grow really, really fast. What I've seen, some of the early results of that, is I get fast flowering on some of my plants. So normally with these orchids, the old approach and the old idea here is 5 to 7 years to flower, and I've been seeing 2 to 3 years to flowering, and with my first bloomers. Now what I'm going to do using this setup, because these plants, I'll show you some of them, incredible growth after 5 months after deflasking. So it's going to push flowering on these guys too. And again, that's the whole plan, is to accelerate this so you can see the flowers, so you can do breeding on this. I do select for the most vigorous plants in the laboratory. When I'm doing my breeding, I select the most vigorous plants in the laboratory. Even in the small petri dishes, when I'm transferring and replating, I select the most vigorous plants. And then here also, they're doing really well. Anyway, I'm putting it off. Let me get behind the camera, show you my setup, and then let me show you some of the plants. Okay, and we're back. So this is my overall setup. This is a grow tent. It is a 6x6 grow tent. There is no humidity instrumentation inside. It is just whatever the plants put out. I do have a tub in the bottom that's filled with water. But it's a 6x6. I can fit 9 of my tubs in here. Not ideal. It would be perfect if this black basin that is right here that everything is sitting in, it would be good if that went all the way to the edge. I probably could squeeze another, I don't know, maybe another 4 tubs in here, but that's okay. It's not ideal. And even when I put these things in here with 3 tubs side by side, there's a bit of a gap. So not ideally designed, but it's okay. In here though there are 4 high intensity LED lights, and these are all hooked up together and under timer. The photo period that I use in here is 16 hours of day, so it's 16/8, and these are grow LED lights. Then they're high intensity, so they're about, I guess, about 2 feet away from the plants. When I first set this up, I might have had it a little bit too close. You can feel the heat that comes out of it. The LED lights are just really nice. You may not be able to tell how bright it is, but I think this is probably equivalent to maybe 30% where I have these positioned as far as how far away from the plants. 20 to 30% sunlight is probably what they're getting. I haven't measured the intensity yet. I keep on meaning to, but I haven't done that yet. Okay, so again, 4 lights spread evenly, pretty even illumination along the whole space here. I've seen these grow tents that have had shelves in there. I'm not willing to do that. I probably could double my space, but I don't think I need to do that. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the plants. And the first 3 tubs that I want to show you are Encyclia tampensis. So right here, and right here, and right here. And again, these were deflasked, I think, 5 months ago. And the other thing to take a look at, and I'm going to show you everything here, but the other thing to take a look at is there is a lot of algae. So these are what's in here, what's in the individual pots, and I think I might have overdone this just a little bit, is Nutricoat. So it's a time-release fertilizer. But I think I might have put a little bit too many pellets that are in here. What's going on here with this one, you can see, is there's a lot of algae growth. Now, I've had people tell me and kind of question, well, okay, so do you scrub it out? And the answer, obviously, is no. And what I've done in the laboratory and what I've done here is if the plants are happy, I'm happy. So the algae is, you know, I could clean it out every week or couple of weeks or whatever, but the algae's not interfering with anything. It's not doing any harm. It's not unusual to have algae growing all around your orchids. And look at, I mean, you know, there's a lot of algae down there where the roots are, and it doesn't seem to be bothering these plants at all. So it's fine. It's, you know, it's not fungi. It's not, and even the top, if you look at some of these, the top of the mix, it almost, you know, there's a lot of green in there, and I don't let it bother me. So first of all, fine, it's a little bit unsightly, but I ignore it because the orchids are ignoring it. Okay, so what I want to show you though, if we take a look at, well, this is, all right, so this is an exception right here. So this is a plant that was deflasked, like I said, about 5 months ago, and it's in a big tub because the root system was so extensive. This is not typical, but this was deflasked 5 months ago. And you can see the huge pseudobulbs. The other thing that I want you to notice, and we'll take a look at more of these as we go, is the new pseudobulbs. So there may have been two big pseudobulbs at the time. Now there are, if you look at it, 1, 2, 3 new pseudobulbs that are growing out of the base of this plant. And that is exceptional, but take a look at the plant next to it. And this is the standard plant in these 2-inch pots, and this is what I do. But if you can see, 1, 2 new pseudobulbs there, growing out of that. Let's go over a little bit, and we see the same thing. Oops, I skipped a plant. New pseudobulbs growing out of that. Look at this one right here. Again, I hope you can see it. 2 new pseudobulbs growing out of that, out of that, out of everything. So that's what you're looking for. That's what you want to see. And all of the plants have incredible new growth coming out of it. When we take a look at, here's one that caught my eye because of the size. Oh, it's hard to see. That pseudobulb right in the middle there. But, you know, the big bulb, again, 5 months after deflasking. Some of these are pretty big when they come out of the flask, but then there's new pseudobulbs even coming out of this plant all over the place. But this is what you see with pretty much all of these plants. They're all making new pseudobulbs. You've got good growth. You've got big pseudobulbs that are there, and this is what I like to see, and it's what I'm seeing with pretty much all of these plants. The only exception, I think I had one of these treatments was a non-mycorrhizal treated flat, and I think that might be what this one is right here. And it's a little slower, but it still looks pretty good. Okay, and we're not going to take a look at, there's one back there. I should mention, anything with a red tag, I told my tech if she wants any of these plants, put a red tag in it, and she can have it. So she's tagged a couple of these plants. That's what the red tag is for. Okay, so we're going to take a look at this right here. And so if you go and take a look at this flat of this tub. This is a different, these aren't Encyclia tempensis, these are all the same hybrid. But what is, again, phenomenal about this is if you take a look at these plants, in most cases you see the new pseudobulbs, and I'll pull some of these to look at, but you can see the new pseudobulbs growing out of these plants. I'm going to turn it sideways maybe so you can get a better view of what's going on here. But some of the plants are just incredible. I got to pull this one if I can. Now when I do this, sometimes they pull other plants along with them, but you know, look at this, and look at this. So this is 5 months since deflasking, but look at the incredible pseudobulb growth on 5 months. 5 months, but there are other ones that are like this in there too. I'm going to pull another one if I can get it out. Nope, see, it's stuck because the roots are. But here's a nice one there, and again, nice root coming out of it, nice big plant, but they're stuck, meaning the roots grow into one another. Okay, let me pull this one out, but again, you can get an idea. 2-inch pot. Oh, sorry about that. 2-inch pot, but look at the new, you know, look at the growth of this plant. And so it's pretty impressive. Okay, let's take a look at one more flat, and that's right here. And so this is another flat that is just, and again, my tech wants that one, so that one's hers. But some of the plants are just phenomenal, and so I'm going to reach in here and try to see if I can pull some of them out. All right, so here's one right here. You know, again, the amount of time that it's been in here is quite minimal. This is just incredible. All right, so this one, again, the new growth coming out of that is just remarkable. Is there anything else? Oh gosh, look at this. I mean, that is, to me, that's outstanding growth. So, you know, new growth. But again, the thing that I love to see is this right here, this pseudobulb growing out of there. But that is a nice size plant, and that's gonna do well. Okay, and again, just so you can see that this is what I get everywhere. I see the same thing here, you know, in this flat, but I gotta reach back here and pull this one out, unless I'm gonna get. This is a different hybrid from everything that we've looked at so far, but look at this new pseudobulb right here growing out of this plant. Nice root system. Again, this is it's only been 5 months since deflasking. Some of the plants back here, some of them are, this is a real mix. So there's some new hybrids that I haven't named back here. There is Certipodium back here. Some of the ones in the back row are Certipodium, and a real mix of orchids in that back one. So anyway, but I just wanted to give you an update and show you what things look like here, how well they're growing. And I just wanted to share that with you. As far as what I'm doing in here, I water these things just once a week. I'm showing you this right now with the top of the tubs off. I'm inside. This is a dry room, so I keep the top latched for the first month, and then latched means underneath. So those are blue tabs at the end. Those latch over the tops for the first month. So it's not airtight, but it's still pretty high humidity. And then for the next month or a couple weeks, what I do is I sit the top on top of the top of the tub on top of the latches, so there's a little bit of gap. But what there is there's not enough. These don't dry out; they stay just a little moist, which is what I'm trying to do. But for the first 4 to a little bit more months of lives of these things, they are still wet, pretty moist. They're under very high humidity conditions. Okay, so I mean, I can even see the new pseudobulbs growing out of that plant from here. So anyway, I'm impressed with how well these are doing, and it's going to be sad because they do need to go outside. And I think some of these things take off. But the nice thing about this is I come in here, every week, and I water these plants. I pull off all of the old water that's been sitting there, so I pull off the algae, but I don't clean the container, and then I use a spray bottle to actually soak them pretty good. So I put a lot of water in there and then close them back up. So when they're this small, they don't seem to, and they're out of the laboratory, and this is a laboratory environment, I don't get any rotting issues. All right, when I use this type of orchiata bark mix, when I use the mycorrhizae, I think that tends to help. But I just I don't have any loss with these guys, and then I take them outside and expose them to everything, and then I'll lose some. Not too many, because they're doing so well because of the environment in which I'm growing here. All right, that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed my video. If you did and you want to keep on seeing them, it would help me out if you could click on like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you're not already a subscriber. All right, once again, I hope you enjoyed my video, and happy propagating.